Hi, this is a little bit different than most of my videos, but I just wanted to give kind of a small update on this channel and where I think it's going in the future. And I also welcome any feedback from whoever might be watching this about what topics related to neurodivergence or mental health that you would like to see covered more in the future. Um, so I guess as a little bit of background, my name is Sam. I am autistic myself, and I started out as a physicist, so in a field that really has nothing to do with this channel at all. Um, and then over time, I actually entered into autism research, and I've been really lucky and grateful to be in that field for the past couple of years. Um, so when I initially started this channel, I had viewed it more as a kind of an outlet for my own ideas. There had been a lot of topics related to autism that I've been thinking about in a decent amount of depth and was excited to share my thoughts somewhere. And YouTube just seemed like it would be a kind of fun platform to try. And so I was just making videos of myself talking about things that I felt passionate about. And it was really fun. I enjoyed it. It kind of gave me a chance to formulate my thoughts. And even though, we are a really small channel, um, hopefully at least a couple people found some of those ramblings interesting. Um, but obviously, I'm just one person, and I don't really know if I have any special wisdom or insight, but to the extent that I do have any, it's definitely finite. And I, after making a few videos of my own thoughts, I felt like I was kind of reaching the limit of what I have to offer people. You know, I don't, I'm not able to generate a brand new, fresh perspective on every topic, and there's topics that I think are really important that I just don't have the expertise in. So over time, and this is something that you've probably already seen on the channel if you happen to be one of the few people who've been following it for a while. But we've been shifting more towards interviewing others, and it's a change that I've really enjoyed. I love getting to know people. I love hearing people's perspectives and experiences with neurodivergence and with mental health. And over time, I've also become, I guess, curious about neurodivergence. And I wouldn't say it's full complexity because there's so much to neurodivergence and so much that we haven't really even touched on at all yet. But I have kind of branched out from really just being laser focused on autism to definitely caring a lot about autism and wanting to continue focusing on that, but also more of a focus on uh, other forms of neurodivergence like ADHD, conditions uh, that may be related to psychosis in some ways. I guess just in general, people's experience with psychosis and traits of psychosis is an area that I'm especially interested in. Um, and that's definitely not an exhaustive list. I'd love to learn more about other areas of neurodivergence going forward as well. Um, so in short, I just kind of wanted to say that we are hoping to interview more people mostly about their personal experience, and how they relate to their own neurodivergence, or how their own, I guess, mental health trajectory throughout life has been like, what areas they find challenging, what areas they find joy in. One topic that I feel very, very strongly about is um, clinicians and therapists having an increased understanding of, um, I guess, like neurodiversity informed care, for lack of a better term. I feel like that term doesn't fully encapsulate it. And so to whatever extent people that we're interviewing are comfortable sharing, I love learning about people's advice for clinicians or how they would like to see changes happen in the mental health care system. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the simple uh, update. I am also hoping to interview some researchers as well. I think there's a lot of really neat research out there. For example, on different types of support for autistic individuals or different approaches to accommodations or other, maybe topics related to human rights and autism or human rights and neurodivergence more broadly. I think sometimes even really great research can end up just being um, kind of contained in academic journals. And so I know personally I would love to talk with more people about yeah, exactly like how they got interested in the research project, what it means to them, what results they most wish that people took away from their paper, and so on. If you're interested in being interviewed, we would definitely love to hear from you if you're interested in sharing about your own experiences as a neurodivergent person. Um, our email address is going to be in the video description. And it if it's helpful, I'll just describe a little bit about the interview process. So we try to have it be as flexible as possible. It's definitely a work in progress. And so if you have feedback throughout, I would love to hear it personally. Um, in general, the way that the process works is that for most people, I'll meet for a pre interview through Zoom. And that's really just a chance for me to go through a little bit more detail on some of the video settings. So for example, for each video, the comments could be on or they could be off. And there's a couple other settings as well where just getting a sense of what each person's preference would be for the main settings is helpful. And then if the person is still interested in participating, is kind of comfortable with everything outlined in that, I like to get a sense of what specific topics the person most wants to share about, and then I'll after the pre-interview's done, and I've had a little bit of an introduction to the person, which I always really enjoy. Then I'll come up with a list of potential questions and send that over. So that's kind of a long way of saying I try to make the process as free of surprises or unexpected things as possible. In the off chance that you've seen any of our previous videos, you can probably tell that I'm not someone who comes up with a lot of spontaneous questions on the spot. And even if I did think of a great spontaneous question, I still want to ask it, um, just because I never want to put someone, in a position where a potentially uncomfortable question is coming their way when they're already being pretty generous to share their, time and experience with me. Um, And that's not at all to say that spontaneous questions are bad in interviews at all. It's just, I don't think that personally my communication style matches with being able to do them well. And so I'll just kind of stick to what's predictable personally. Um, and yeah, so once the interview's done, um, if I'm happy to send, a copy of the sort of preview, what it would look like when it's published, if that's something that you'd like. If you kind of don't want to have to review everything, again, which is totally understandable. I'm happy to just publish it, kind of make a description myself and then send it once everything's done. So it's really up to you for whatever is easier. Yeah, so I guess the goal of this is really just to show hopefully a variety and diversity of different perspectives and experiences related to neurodivergence. I still anticipate that I'm sure at some point in the future there will be uh, an idea or perspective that I feel strongly enough about that I'll still make a video out about sharing kind of my own thoughts on that topic. But it will probably be, much more of a secondary focus of the channel, and the main focus will be interviews, at least for the near future. Um, so yeah, thank you very much for watching this. Definitely welcome any feedback or questions, comments, concerns, topic ideas. And yeah, I guess maybe on a more personal note, for anyone who has watched this channel at some point or found it helpful, I do want to say thank you. I appreciate it a lot. I try to reply to most comments. There's probably a handful that slip by, but they do mean a lot. And I feel pretty lucky to have the chance to have, a small uh, virtual footprint, I guess. Um, so thank you.